in the last 16 or 17 videos, we were discussing about the basics of cost management, how to reduce the unit cost of a product by reducing cost or eliminating constraints. This was the focus point for the last 17 videos. We discussed about cost reduction. Next one was about constraint elimination, how to reduce your fixed cost or how to increase your output. The third the third topic was the variables which we could reduce. We saw by the example of a small tree, how many variables are there which aids or deters the growth of the yield of the tree. When we mean the growth of the tree, we are looking for the good yield from the tree. So we are looking at so many variables which affects the yield, the number of fruits it produces, the quantity of fruits as well as the quality of fruits it gives. So we were discussing about variables in 3 sessions, and then we applied the principles of cost reduction and constraint elimination to meet a customer demand of a 25% price reduction. In that process, we saw how the existing system can be utilized better, how consumption can be reduced so that we meet the price demand of the customer as well as we increase the profit of the unit. We saw how a big jump can be achieved in the profits when you reduce your cost and increase your output by eliminating the constraints. The last slide, the video number 17, if you go to the last slides, you'll be surprised that with the same price level, you could achieve a 10-fold increase in your profits. From 3.78 lakhs, you can achieve a profit level of 35 lakhs if you eliminate constraints and reduce consumption. It takes a lot of fine tuning, but this is the kind of astronomical jump you will have in the profits. A big leap you will have in the profits. And this is not a just case study from the imagination. It is a actual real working. It happened. We were able to, in fact, cut down the number of working days of the unit by about 50% because it was meeting our demand very easily. It was a bottleneck in the beginning, but later it became a surplus resource that we were able to shut it down for 50% of the time and devote the people for other work. So today, from now on, we'll apply the principles of cost reduction and see how cost reductions can help you in different areas of the enterprise. You might recollect that we were discussing about raw materials. In the variables, we are talking about raw materials, which is a major cost element. Materials, according to Peter Drucker, contributes about 25% of the cost, and movement of that material contributes another 21%. So all in all, raw material and its movement cost about 46% of the price which we get from the customer. So if you are getting $100 from the customer, it involves $46 of raw material and its movement. So today, in the next able to get even a 5% reduction, it means that your net profit will go up by 3%, 2.3%. So we will see how this raw material can be put to good use so that our profits increase and the cost goes down. The objective of this lesson is to analyze why material usage is to be given priority in any enterprise. Learn to calculate the cost of carrying stock. Learn to measure stock turnover ratio and improve it. Learn how to carry minimal stock without affecting your production needs. So 4 things we want to focus here. First, we want to understand why material usage is to be given priority. Then we need to know how to calculate the cost of carrying stock, measure stock turnover ratio and improve it. And fourth one is learn how to carry minimal stock without affecting the production needs. Now, why study stock? As I said earlier, it is a main cost element. So your saving potential is very high, far higher than any other area you focus on. 46% of the cost is in the material. And if you can save 5% or 10% of that, you will automatically save 10% of your cost. And that will boost your profits directly. Next one is material always has room for improvement. And there is always development in the field of material. Metallurgy, as you know, it's a specialized field, and there's always upgradation in the material quality, sizes, features, and new suppliers come up. So there's always room for improvement in the material area. The sources may be far off, so you need to know how much to stock. Okay, you have to balance between your requirement as well as the cost. Fourth one is material may deteriorate with time, so chances to incur losses is very high here. Fifth reason why we need to study is because major share of the working capital is used here. In most industries, manufacturing especially, majority of the working capital need is to buy raw material. So you can reduce that requirement so that you spend less on your finance cost. Prudent usage of raw material can avoid wastages, and that can yield big saving. Raw material wastage, it doesn't benefit anyone. You buy fresh raw material for 1,000 rupees a kilo, and after using only 800 gram, if you are going to sell back the 200 gram, it is going to go only as scrap. Okay, it is not going to fetch you the original price. It is going to fetch you maybe 1/10 of the price. Okay, so always the raw material wastages should be avoided. And seventh one is shortages of even one small item can result in incomplete or uninvoiceable product. Our focus is to get maximum throughput, which means finished goods out of the factory. We cannot supply anything with shortage of item. So stock should always be a top priority management focus area so that there is no shortage as well as there is no excess. Now, I have a small question for you. What is stock? A traditional definition of stock is material lying in raw material stores plus work in process plus semi-finished goods and finished goods. Four areas which is considered as your stock area: raw material, work in process, which is material lying inside the factory, semi-finished goods, and finally the finished goods. Delta Eta has a different definition. Stock, I've read somewhere that anything out of place is stock. Yes, it can be true. The raw material which is supposed to be lying at the supplier's end, if it is lying with you unused, it is stock. It is a waste. Similarly, I would say for delta eta, my definition is money paid by the company for procurement of material and not yet recovered as money from customer. This is stock for delta eta or for me. So you pay advance to get some material, that is stock, that is money. Again, you get material, it is lying in the yard for QC clearance, it is stock. You supplied material to the customer, but the customer has not paid you. It is still coming under the definition of stock. So I would say money paid by the company for procurement of material and that is not yet recovered as money from the customer is stock. So we'll see the different areas: raw material, work in process, semi-finished, finished goods. These are the four traditional definitions areas. Spare parts, tools, stationery, and samples. This is also stock. You paid money for it and it is lying with you, unused or maybe waiting for use. So it is stock. Spares, tools, stationery, samples, all this should be considered as stock. Advance paid, but material is not yet received. It may be in transit or is yet to be dispatched. It's again stock. Material received, but still under inspection. Material received, but QC rejected. In many companies, you will find that there will be a big yard which is a QC rejected material. It's a no man's land. Nobody takes care of it. The QC would reject it. The purchase people would call the customer to the supplier to take it back. But the supplier, because he has already invoiced it, he doesn't want to take it back. It is lying there. It's money and you have paid for it, but the material is standing rejected. So this is again stock for you. Goods delivered, but payment not received. You have invested all the money, but you have not received the payment back. This is your stock. Advance paid, we discussed earlier. So all these 10 areas involves a lot of money. So if you calculate all this sum together, you will find what is the value of stock lying in your enterprise, inside your organization. What I mean by organization doesn't just mean the factory alone. If you're having too many stationery, too many tools, too many samples, it's all money paid for, too many spare parts, it's all money. So this is the definition of stock as per delta eta. It's an elaborate definition, but it covers all the areas because you have paid money for it. The people always think that stock means material. No, stock means money. It's money lying in the form of material inside your organization. It's your money lying inside your organization or outside your organization in the form of material. That is stock. Now, a question is normally asked, what is the right stock value? You must have heard of this word JIT, just in time. Toyota and many manufacturing companies, they practice just JIT, which means the material just comes in and goes onto the shop floor, just in time. So there is minimal inventory. Is it possible all the time? It may be possible when some vendors are nearby or you are having so close control that you are getting material day in, day out. So you keep minimum stock, but all the time you require some stock. At all times you require some stock. So what is the best yardstick to define what is the right stock value? There are two ratios for it. One is, of course, stock means it is going to be converted into money. So we always consider the stock value, compare it with the cost of goods sold, which means your price minus profit, minus your administrative cost. Cost, the price, selling price, minus profits, minus administrative cost, sales and marketing cost. This gives you the cost of goods sold. So always compare the stock value with the cost of goods sold to get the right measure. First measure which we normally use in the enterprises is stock turnover ratio, which is the cost of goods sold by the average stock. STR, it indicates how many times the stock inside the organization becomes money in one particular year, in one calendar year, or in one financial year. Let's say if it's overseas, they use January to December as a financial year. India, we use April to March. So whatever is the calendar you follow, in a year, how many times your stock is getting converted into money? This is called stock turnover ratio. If the ratio is high, it means the stock is getting converted into cash more frequently, which is better for the company. If the stock turnover ratio is high, it means that the stock is getting converted into cash more frequently. So it can be a number like 5, 6, 8, 10, whatever it is. It means that In a year, you are getting the stock converted into money 10 times if it is 36. If the stock turnover ratio is 5, it means that in a year, your stock is getting converted into money 5 times. So this is the stock turnover ratio. Corollary to that or parallel to that is the days sales of inventory. The first one was a ratio. The second one is the number of days it takes to convert your stock into finished product or sell it. It measures how many days it takes to turn your stock into sales. It's simply 365 divided by the STR. It's simply 365 divided by STR. Now, in the first stock turnover ratio, STR, we saw that the higher the ratio, the better for the company, because it means that the number of times the cash is getting, the stock is getting converted into cash more frequently. This is what we want the STR to be. Now, if you see in DSI, the STR is in the denominator. So it means that DSI should be minimal, going towards minimal. So the minimal, the lower the number of days it is, the better for the company. We will see in an example how clearly this DSI and STR are to be calculated and how it helps the company to know. This can be measured very easily. There is no big calculation required. Here it is stock turn, STR is COGS divided by the average stock. So cost of goods sold divided by the average stock. So let's say in a year, you are selling 100 crore rupees worth of goods and the gross profit is 30%. So your COGS is 70 crores. I'll just repeat it. I'll use a small example to tell you. Now, if you see here, we're just going to calculate both STR and DSI in a simple way. Let's say the turnover of the company is 40 million. Sorry, it's 40 lakhs or 4 million. Gross profit is 10 lakhs. So COGS is very simply 30 lakhs. So in a year, you are doing a turnover of 40 lakhs and you have a gross profit of 10 lakhs, 25% gross profit. So your COGS works out to 30 lakhs. The average stock you are keeping in the organization throughout the year is 5 lakhs. To achieve an annual turnover of 40 lakhs, you are keeping an average stock of 5 lakhs in the organization throughout the year. So your STR works out to COGS divided by the average stock. 30 lakhs divided by 5 lakhs, which is 6. This number 6 is your STR. Now, DSI is 365 divided by E, that is 6. So 365 divided by 6, you get 61 days. So DSI, which is day sales of inventory, is 61 days. So every 61 days, the stock inside the organization is replenished or turned over to become cash. So this is a very good simple way of calculating the right stock value. And what is the right stock value? There is no such thing as a right stock value. You should always try to maximize this 6 and minimize the 61. If the 6 becomes 8, automatically this will become something around 45. If this becomes 10, if the STR becomes 10, your DSI will become 36. So our objective of any enterprise should be to maximize this STR or minimize the DSI. So in this, when it is 61 days, it means that the stock turns over once in 2 months, or the company has invested in material for 61 days. The company has invested in material for 61 days. Now, I will just give one example. A best business in terms of STR, we will see what is the best business that can be, and we'll end this video. Let's say a street vendor is buying banana for 500 in the morning and he sells by evening for rupees 800. His stock turnover ratio, almost on a daily basis, he is converting the 500 rupees into profit. So his material is getting converted into money 365 times a year. See, in this business, he is just investing 500 rupees on the 1st of January, and the evening he is making 800 rupees. Next day, he is taking 500 and again investing in banana. Evening he is making 800. So every day he is getting 300 rupees as profit. And in the year, his rupees 500 investment on January 1st is becoming 1,09,000 rupees, 9,500 rupees. So in terms of investment, if you see just 500 rupees invested, and at the end of the year, it becomes 109,500, or it turns over 365 days because he doesn't keep a single banana as stock. He buys in the morning, he sells in the evening. Let's look at the supermarket. He's keeping an average stock of 20 lakhs. And he has a very big turnover. He's making a turnover of 360 lakhs in a year, or 3.6 crores is the turnover. His gross profit is 20%. So his STR is 14.4. STR is 288 divided by 20, which is 14.4. And his DSI is 365 divided by 14.4, which is 18 days. It means that the supermarket is stocking material worth for 18 days. So the policy of the supermarket should be to increase the sales, reduce the stock kept, so that this 14.5 is maximized. Make it 15, 15.5, 16, 18, 20, so the company becomes better. And the DSI is 18 days. Try to reduce it to 10, 12, whatever it is. Try to minimize it. Now let's look at a factory, a production unit, where you have a lot of raw material used to convert into finished goods. So you have a stock of 5 crores, average stock, and monthly turnover is 3 crores. Gross profit is 30%. So the STR of the company is approximately 5. How it comes? 3 crores into 12. So annual turnover is 36 crores. You have a gross profit of 30%. So your COGS is multiplying by 0.7, and then divide by the stock. Divide by 5, you get 5.04. So your STR is 5.04. So the material is getting converted to money 5 times a year. And the DSI, which is 365 divided by 5, it becomes 73 days. You see, in the case of the banana vendor, the STR was 365. STR was 365 and DSI was 1 day. In the case of the supermarket, the STR was 14.4 and the DSI was 18 days. And in case of a big factory with a big turnover of 3.6 crores, 36 crores, you find that material is converted to money 5 times a year and your DSI is 73 days. So the company is investing material of 73 days for their stock. So imagine if this 5 crores is kept as idle for 73 days. This is the effect of keeping this stock inside the organization. So the objective should be to reduce the stock, increase the turnover, so that your STR is high and your DSI is low.